Okay, I'm going to try to get through all this without crying, y'all, but no promises. The emotional roller coaster we as spouses go through is unbelievable. Not for the weak, that's for sure. So it's Saturday, January 25th, 2025. 1:25:25. Worst day of my life, y'all. We've been up all night. They've been working on my husband all night. Finally got him on a ventilator, I'm going to say around 5 in the morning. I really don't know. I have no idea what time anything is happening. And then things moved very fast. We're calling the kids, we're calling everybody at home, trying to tell them what's happening, but nobody's really told us specifically what's happening. We know he's got to go into surgery. Nobody told us what kind. I have no idea what's going on. Kids at home are getting a little upset because they thought this was an easy surgery overnight. They don't understand what's happening. And I'm like, we don't understand what's happening. Nobody's telling us. So anyway, they say, okay, grab your stuff. We got to go. We grabbed our stuff. We're following this entire team through the brain hospital. We got to cross the walkway, go to the other hospital. They take us through the walkway. They sit us down in some chairs, tell us we'll be out to talk to you in just a few minutes. And through the doors he went, and that was it. We were in a lobby, y'all. We were not in a room. We were sitting in a lobby. We had no idea. We had these big, beautiful windows in front of us. Nobody's around, super early in the morning, and no one's around. And I don't know how much time it was. It wasn't, I don't know, 15 minutes to 30 minutes. I really have no idea of time at this point. And a doctor came out in his scrubs and a white coat, and he goes to the window, he leans up against the window and starts talking to us, and he says, I'm very sorry to tell you, but your husband is having an unsurvivable heart attack, and you're very likely not to see him again. And I know this isn't what you want to hear, but people don't survive this kind of heart attack. So you need to call the rest of your kids, you need to get whatever support you need, and have them come and be with you. I lost it. I am pleading with my eyes with this guy to tell me something different. No. This is not what I want to hear. Tell me something different. Pleading with my eyes, y'all. And I'm sobbing uncontrollably. I didn't even realize I was sobbing. I was sobbing. My daughter is crying, but trying not to. My son-in-law is teared up and trying not to. She'd asked him to come because we needed somebody who understood medical terms and knew what was going on, could figure it out and explain it to us. So he had gotten there right after we got to the second hospital, across the way to the main hospital. So he was teared up, and the doctor realized I was devastated, and he came over and he rubbed my shoulder and he said, I'm truly very, very sorry to give you this news. We'll do everything we can. And through the doors he went. I'm in shock. I'm devastated. I'm trying to keep my act together for my kids, and I can't. I'm uncontrollable. I'm quietly uncontrollable. I'm sobbing to myself. There's no outbursts. There's nothing loud. I am just internally breaking down horrifically. And we hug and we pray, and I pray and I pray. Let me tell you something. I have prayed no harder in my life than I prayed that morning. And as we were sitting there, we were waiting for them to come out and give us the worst news and ask us to come see his body. We're preparing ourselves for that. About an hour passed. And I'm looking at the time, and I look at the kids, and I say, okay, it's been an hour. They would not still be back there working on him if he was gone. And my son-in-law was like, you're right. There's still some hope. And I said, oh, there's hope. And we're going to cling to it. And we continued to cling to that hope. And we started telling positive stories about my husband, about Amber's daddy. And calling the kids, of course, texting the kids. I asked Amber and Scott to handle the communications because I could not. I just could not talk to anybody at the time. Time passed. Eventually, another surgeon came out in his scrubs, his cap, and he had a smile on his face. And I must have just, I don't know what the look on my face was, but I must have just beamed. The smile on his face said everything. And he comes up and he leans against that same window and he starts telling us what has happened. My husband had, his aorta was fully blocked, 100% blocked. They couldn't get the tools in. He said, I really didn't know what to do. We've never had to do a surgery on someone who had just had a brain surgery. We were very concerned about causing a brain bleed, a stroke, a major problem. We didn't want to have a bunch of complications, so we really had to really think about it, didn't really know what to do. And he said, it finally occurred to me, that brain is no good if the heart is not working. He says, so I decided to run a thin wire up through the aorta to see if I could get any blood to go through. And I got a few little drips to go through. He said that gave me some hope. So I decided to just go for it. And I ran a large stent, put a large stent in place. And he said, come here, I want to show you a video. And I got up and he's showing me this video, this black and white video of my husband's heart that's doing nothing. I mean, there's nothing, you can barely see. And he shows me where the wire goes through and where you can see a few little drips of blood. It's like, okay. And then he flips the video and he said, here is where I put the stent in. He puts that stent in place and the whole heart just filled up with blood and started pumping. I wanted to jump for joy. I wanted to hug this man. I wanted to love this man. I wanted to just hang on to him and let him know how grateful I was. I was overjoyed. I was smiling. I was happy. I was thrilled. I wanted to hug him. He's standing there in his scrubs, his cap and stuff, and I'm thinking, he's still got to go back in there and see about my husband. I don't want to, delay anything by getting germs on him. So I didn't hug him, but I thanked him a million times. My kids are crying, and I told him that's the best video I've ever seen in my life. I wish I had a copy of it. He said, I got to go back in. He said, I just wanted you to know. He said, we really had to think about this. We were very concerned. This is all new to us. And he said, I've done this for a long time. He said, in my career, I've only had 4 people survive this heart attack. And only 1 lived past a year. So we have a road to go. And I said, okay, so I have to worry about more heart attacks. And he said, no, it's the comorbidities. You have to worry about kidney failure. You have to worry about diabetes. You have to worry about him going home and sitting on his butt, getting depressed, not moving, not doing anything. That's what causes the problems. And that is why they pass fast. He said, so you're going to have to really make changes in your life and take care of him and encourage him, keep him positive and happy and going. I said, okay, all right, we'll do it, whatever. He said, we just had to make the decision to go for it, send him home with complications instead of not sending him home. And the kids were like, absolutely, we're very grateful. We'll take the complications. We want him to come home. So he went back in the room. It was a while later. They came back and got us and they said, come on, you got to follow us. We got to go to ICU. So we went in. He's laying on a gurney in a bed. And they take us back through the back ways of the hospital to a big elevator. And we all cram in this elevator. And we go up to the ICU. And we come through the doors. It's a very nice floor, very quiet. They take us down to the room. Before we get to the room, I hear a thump, 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 thump. I'm wrong. He was already in the ICU room. The cramming in the elevator was when we went from one hospital to the other. Oh, it was just a lot. They took us up to the ICU floor where he was. And I heard the thump, thump, thump. And it was a heart pump, y'all. And they told us, He's on a heart pump. He's on a ventilator. He's running a fever. We have to have him on a cooling mat, so there's a cooling machine there. He is surrounded by machines. So don't be upset about that when you see him. He's alive. We're doing everything we can for him. But when I heard that noise, y'all, I smiled. I told the kids, this is the best thing. They were like, what? The nurse and the doctor that was with us, he was like, what? And I said, sounds just like a cable tool rig. My husband has drilled on cable tool rigs since he was a kid. His grandpa's, his dad, him, he has been around cable tool rigs all of his life. I said, he is in there dreaming. He thinks he's working on a cable tool rig. He is happy. He's in the best place he could be. And the doctor looked at me and he was like, seriously? I've never heard that before. He said, but that's probably a very good thing. I said, trust me, he thinks he's at a rig. And that is a very good thing. And I told the kids and I told everyone who visited, anyone coming through those doors, this is a place of positive energy. Positive energy, positive thoughts, love, happiness, nothing negative. There will be no negative energy in this room, period. If y'all have any issues, if y'all need to break down, if y'all need to scream and yell and you're stressed, whatever, take it, go have lunch, go deal with it there, go to the parking lot. Nothing in this room but love and positive energy. And I kept my sanity the entire 5 days he was sedated. He had a lot of stuff. He had a PICC line stuff going in his neck with monitors going down internally. Had a PICC line in his right arm. Had like I said, he had machines all around him. He had a feeding tube. He had like 11 bags of stuff hanging. It was a lot. It was a lot. And some of the kids had a hard time with it. And I was there for them, and I hugged them, and I said, look, he's going to be okay. Keep praying, positive thoughts. He's going to be okay. He's going to come home. He's going to come home.